Nice to meet you. I'm a product manager at Yahoo Japan Corporation. My name is Kai. So, in this session, I'd like to talk about what we have been doing and developing for several years in order to eliminate the Yahoo ads that is up against a violation, which is about creative developer, and also would like to talk about the design concept of the creative tester, as well as some barriers, as well as the reality of those activities. Thank you very much for your time. So, with this, I firstly would like to express my name, Yuki Kai, from Yahoo Japan Corporation. I joined Yahoo mid-career in 2018 and was immediately assigned to the art, trust, and safety area. So right after I joined, I realized that some of the systems, as well as some of the areas, most of them are actually done by the examiner's joint effort with only manpower. And in this state, I thought that we have to do something about this. And since then, I've been involved in this system planning, as well as business design in the art, trust, and safety area, as well as product management that I'm going to talk about. And it's about my private life. I go for a drive by a car, because under COVID, as well as I also enjoy playing poker, triggered by a YouTuber. So, with this, I would like to start this session. Business innovation takes place when people and AI work together. So, when we think of the planning, design, development, and implementation of a creative tester, I have come to feel these words are very strong. If you are thinking about introducing AI in your business, or those who have already done and are in the growth phase, I'm sure there are many situations. In any situations you're in, I hope I can share with you that these words are right and important through this session. So today I will introduce our AI screening system in 5 steps. First of all, what is Yahoo advertising? Yahoo Japan advertising is the starting point, followed by ads review, what is creative tester, barriers to AI implementation, and lastly, people and AI work together. First, about Yahoo Japan advertising. Of course, we can classify in many ways. However, in this session, I'd like to have rough 3 categorization. The search ads, display ads called guaranteed, and display ads called auction. So let me go into the details from the next slide. First is about search ads. By entering the words you want to search for in the fields on the Yahoo Japan homepage, the search results can be displayed, and the ads corresponding to input are displayed to the user. The next is about a display ad called guaranteed. So when you access to the Yahoo Japan top page, there is some total dynamic type of rich advertisement you might always see. And if the total screen of the Yahoo Japan screen is used in a dynamic way, this type of advertisement is called the guaranteed type of advertisement. Lastly is about the ad called auction. This ad can be placed not only on services provided by Yahoo Japan, but also in a variety of other locations, including major media outlets in Japan. And also, in addition, by placing relevant ads based on users' interest, you can deliver the ads that users are looking for. There are more times when classified in detail, but those are the 3 main types that I would like to talk about here. And our main role is to check if there are any violation of the guidelines in these ads. So, the guidelines are also divided into 3 main categories. So from left, the first one is ad insertion guidelines, the criteria for ad contents in placing an ad. Next, the ad delivery guidelines regarding the ad space where the ad is to be placed. And lastly, ad traffic quality guidelines, which are guidelines for ad networks. And to the last ad is served. And here I'd like to focus on the insertion guidelines. So have you ever seen an ad like this anywhere? This is a very telling samples. So like this, just drink it and you will lose weight. And on the right, just apply it and the spots will disappear. Have you ever seen such ads? Of course, these advertisements are in violation of pharmaceutical affairs. Those cannot be posted as advertisement. So those are very easy cases. However, in order to eliminate such violations, and we would like to eliminate those violations and to make the ads you are other internet users are exposed to reliable, secure.
Just to say a little more about ad screening, our ad screening is carried out by AI systems and human eyes 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, from before an ad is submitted to when the ad has finished its publication. A manual ad review is carried out by several hundred people in 3 areas in Japan: Aomori, Fukuoka, and Tokyo. So abruptly, this big number appeared, 40 million. So what do you think this figure represents? So I think you can kind of guess based on what you've heard so far. This number is the number of ad reviews we perform every day. Approximately 40 million ads are screened using systems, AI, and human eyes. The demand for internet advertising has grown for the past many years. So internet ad has kept on growing since I joined Yahoo Japan. So naturally, as the demand for internet advertising increases, the number of ad reviews also continues to grow. When I first joined Yahoo Japan in 2018, the number of reviews per day was approximately 15 million. And today, that number is still increasing. So here's how we are screening for this huge number of reviews. So how we did screening in the past, I would like to explain. So a few years ago, the screening was very tough. So it was carried out by a system of regular expressions and a manpower of judges from left to right. What is submitted as an advertisement is divided into several parts. So starting from the top title, description, and the landing page, which the user clicks on the ad. So this is done by crawling. And keywords, also only for search ads, as well as images. So for these 4 parts can be handled as text formats, so they are applied to regular expressions. If they match the regular expression, they are reviewed using human beings. If not, the ad is served. It was very simple. In addition, image and video ads for display ads only are not in text format. Therefore, all cases were checked by humans. Regular expressions introduced earlier, the number of phrases managed exceeded 1 million. And the judges visually checked the match or no match results of these over 1 million phrases every week. For each phrase, the match and correct response rates were visualized, and the judges were asked to decide whether to edit the phrase, keep it as it is, or remove the phrase itself. These decisions were being made every week all the time. Naturally, it was not possible to detect all risks through regular expression phrase maintenance, and as more and more ads were submitted, more and more ads gradually passed through the regular expression net and were approved. So the area where regular expression could not cover increased. In addition, the percentage of manually reviewed ads was gradually decreasing due to the limited number of reviewers. This led to an increase in patrolling ad reviews after an ad has been placed. The increasing number of post-delivery reviews proved detrimental to users and advertisers alike. So what does this mean? Increased post-delivery screening could lead to users being shown ads that should not really be shown to them and which violate the guidelines, which can make the users feel uncomfortable or in really bad cases, they can be harmed by fake brands or fraudulent ads. Post-delivery review is also undesirable for advertisers. The submitted ad has been approved and the ad has started to run, but the ad is rejected later. For example, if a campaign is linked to a TV or a real event, this can result in a very big loss. So the increasing the number of post-delivery reviews due to manpower limitation was a danger that would affect not only the product but also the advertising service itself. The limits of ad screening, which is meant to guarantee safety, began to affect the business itself adversely. The real situation in ad review a few years ago was a dangerous one, where the limits of ad review could create limits to the business. So that was a reality.
The internet advertising demand continues to increase. However, it is difficult to increase the number of examinees, such as 1,000. Therefore, it is also difficult to detect risks with high accuracy using regular expressions before ads are placed. And we need a system to break out of such a negative spiral situation we were caught in at that timing. So we conceived the idea and developed creative tester that I'm going to talk about. The policy for developing creative tester was to keep 6 points in mind. So risk judgment utilizing machine learning in order to advertise system exam, which has been relying heavily on regular expressions, and loosely coupled systems that are flexible enough to accommodate a variety of business situations. And because of the nature of ad, we often pursue good results for the same product with slightly different creative titles and descriptions. So in order to support such cases, it is necessary to be able to determine the risk of highly similar ads. The environment must be highly maintainable, because if too many man-hours are allocated for maintenance, it is impossible to develop a required new system. And the number of ads can increase rapidly due to advertisers' promotional activities, such as the end of term and March. So even if the number of ads increases rapidly, the environment can respond with auto scale. And in the ad market, where new products or campaigns are constantly being created, the accuracy of risk assessment needs to be constantly improved so that this can be quickly improved. And an environment that allows for fast and efficient testing and evaluation was necessary. Therefore, we chose Google Cloud as the platform to meet these requirements. So let me move on to the main aspect of Creative Tester. Creative Tester's AI review process begins with the steps of converting all submitted ads into text format that can be judged by the system. As I mentioned, those are broken down into parts, and text divided into parts similar to those just described. And as for the landing pages, retrieving information by crawl OCR to extract that text in the image. Then convert all the information to text format. And keyword is text, so leave it as it is. As for images, we convert to text format through image analysis to determine similarities or through OCR. And as for video ads, the shredded video goes through image analysis and OCR. And for audio, speech analysis technology is used to convert what's being said to text format. So, after such various conversions, in addition to the regular expressions conventionally used, then we use machine learning to determine risk. As for risk determination, it is not a simple 0-1 risk assessment. It performs checks using regular expressions, business logic, machine learning models, and keeps tags and scores for all of them. So this is a level of risk attached. And each of the parts is evaluated, and all of them are combined to make the integrated judgment. This is the basic concept of Creative Tester. And as for the machine learning model, it is not the end of the process when it is development, but we are also promoting MLOps. And ML models developed are released over a certain period of time. The result of the relearning are evaluated using the evaluation data, and the accuracy of the old and new models are compared. If the newly trained model is superior, it is deployed and the model is updated. And if the newly trained model is inferior, it is retrained, improving the accuracy of the model. The accuracy of each model is improved through a process of retraining, evaluation, and comparison of old and new models. But in order to respond to various types of model, there are multiple models developed. And because of the existence of multiple models, the combination of the models also lead to the issue of ensemble, which combination would be the right. And we now have faced this challenge in the development of creative tester, so let me talk about it. For example, model A alone can achieve 60% accuracy, and combining B and C gives 75% accuracy. And what about other combinations? So as the number of models increases, the more cost to verify them. So because the number to be examined increased. And as the number of models increases, the number of combination is increased, but it is also possible that the overall performance can be better when some are not included. It is very difficult to find an optimal solution in the constantly changing ad market. Continuing to spend data scientists and engineering resources on creating this combination is not a good option from our point of view. We start to believe that rather than an engineer who does not actually see the latest art submitted by every day, the result will be more realistic when tuning is performed by the examiners or judges with intuition. In other words, the judges who are constantly exposed to the latest art should tune the art according to the trends and times of the year. So that is the situation that we would like to achieve. As we discuss later, in order to allocate engineering resources to the new development functions, we try to optimize and streamline resources. And this concept is applied to creative tester as a whole.
The environment in which the judges can create their own combinations of machine learning models, manual rules, and regular expressions to improve their accuracy and evaluate them is called the creative tester playground. So in this playground, the newly created combinations can be applied to constantly updated evaluation datasets to evaluate their accuracy. If the accuracy is good, it can be deployed, and if not, it can be recreated. Of course, there are cases where model tuning by data scientists will be necessary, but creative tester aims to make it possible for non-engineers to take the initiative in improving the accuracy of AI screening systems. So we have just talked about optimizing and streamlining our engineering resources with Creative Tester Playground. Naturally, we also have an important idea about the resources of our judges. This picture shows the degree of risk of the submitted ads. And with the left-hand side being those that are clearly estimated to have high risk, and the right-hand side being those that are clearly estimated to have low risk. So going forward, we want the creative tester to develop to maximize the left-hand side of the diagram as a direction of growth of the AI review system and maximize the right-hand sides as well. In this way, the targets that the judges will be exposed to will be narrowed down to only those that are difficult to judge by AI and systems and should really be judged by the human eye, while the others can be done by AI. So this is exactly how we want to optimize using AI and systems. So this is the ideal state we are aspiring for. Creative tester going to the principles of creative tester. So it is based on the principle that we want to shift human resources to a more creative direction. So when we say people, it includes, of course, engineers, as we mentioned earlier, but also the judges who carry out the day-to-day work of judging the ads. So based on this basic philosophy, we are planning and developing new functions. So I'm sure that among the audience, there are members and you have your own objectives and KPIs for the systems you are developing. But have you set up and shared such principles? As a product manager, I place great importance on deciding the philosophy of what the direction this system wants to go, and make sure that this is shared with the engineers and users who are involved in the project. I strongly believe that this will help the project move in the right direction. And therefore always make sure to share this kind of philosophy in all the projects I am involved in. So switching gears now. Will AI take my job? This was what many people asked me when I joined in 2018, when we started to promote the use of AI in ad screening. Of course, AI will not take away the judge's work. Rather, the introduction of AI will transform the job of the judge into one that is more difficult, or one that inputs correct data into the AI, or one that teaches the AI to do its job. So the judge's work will change, but it will not be eliminated. In order to drastically change the situation, a thorough awareness-raising process is needed. To this end, I have been visiting every month Aomori and Fukuoka to continue explaining about this. So under COVID, many people shifted to remote work. So today is also a remote session. But still, I would like to say that face-to-face discussions are still very important when communicating to really convey our principles and ideals. So as human beings, face-to-face is an extremely important form of communications. So I dare to say this in this remote session. And also, strong concerns were not only raised from the reviewers, but also from the service and sales side. What if the AI's decision results are mistaken? What if the service level deteriorates compared to when the review was done manually? I think all of these are valid concerns. A solid accuracy verification flow and accuracy target value setting is needed. From the perspective of scheme transparency. And also, it is important to establish an error handling scheme in case of unexpected results. So we have discussed various aspects about Creative Tester, including its overview and philosophy. Some of you may have found it to be a tremendously impressive system. But there are still many ads that can only be judged by human beings visually reviewing them, and which cannot be done by AI. The example of the two ads which I showed you in the beginning. So for these very simple cases, AI can make a decision. However, there are still type of ads that are even difficult for humans to judge, much less AI. Ads are, as I explained many times, they are very prone to changing trends and due to timeliness and new products. It takes time and data as well as growth of technology for AI to be able to flexibly respond to completely novel ads? Well, it is important to streamline learning, evaluation, and deployment with MLOps. It is also important to develop a scheme to pass on human knowledge as correct data to AI. Continued human input to the AI of information such as new judging criteria, new products, new terms, trends, legal interpretations, and previous judgment results. So these are of paramount importance for humans to continue inputting these information to the AI judging or reviewing system. I would like to bring up this sentence again. So in this sense, we believe that cooperation between people and AI is extremely necessary and important. So this is exactly the same slide I showed at the beginning, but maybe you are seeing this differently. Business innovation takes place when people and AI work together. This is something that we have experienced again through the development of Creative Tester. So through listening to this session, maybe your impression when reading this sentence might have changed compared to before listening to my presentation. The advertising market is still evolving and is still changing. So we are very serious about delivering ads that is useful to people, not advertising that is disliked. So ads tend to be disliked, but we really want to make ads useful to people. So we believe that one of the things we can do is to this end to improve the quality of ads. So we will continue to work with people and AI to evolve the Creative Tester further, just as we have done in the past. And last but not least, through the development of Creative Tester, we will protect the trust and safety of internet advertising. I would like to continue today's session with these comments. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kai. So from here, we would like to have a session about the in-depth way to talk about some of the points that you might be interested in. We would like to take some questions as much as possible. So on the right bottom, there is a question mark, so you can post your question from here. And the question is asked by Takahiro Himura. So could you introduce briefly about yourself? So I am a manager of the advertisement development management as well as learning system for the advertisement. Thank you very much for your wonderful story. It was a very interesting topic. So the reduction of the advertisement management is trying to be reduced. So there are some examinations going on, and we are also very interested in such mechanism. So for the restriction of there are some examination, this can also have an impact on business. So it is true. And also the tuning on ourselves would be also very important. So that type of environment is also required. I agree. So let me ask you some questions relating to your topic. Yes, thank you. So in order to improve the model of the quality of the machine learning, so model cleaning as well as the quality is very important. So, however, the result of the ad management, when we try to create data based on the results of the examination, why was it rejected and so on? Some of the reasons are enough, but some of the reasons are not enough. That might be depending on the criteria for each reviewers or judges. So how do you handle those differences or gaps among those results? Yeah, thank you very much for your question. In our case, So the history of the judgment or examination is not everything. So if we just focus on that, the process or why they just reached that result. So what was there in the mind of the judges or examiners that should be displayed or visualized. So that's one of the challenge. So in order to solve this as a one way, so we have a judgment or examination tool that were used by judges. And in that tool, we try to embed some annotation functions so that the judges do not have to review the art in order to get results. But in the daily examination, they can add annotations seamlessly. So what was good and why was it good? So this kind of annotation can be added by the examiners themselves. So we are now trying to develop such tools now.
I see. Thank you very much. So that means you're not using services like GCP, but you develop your own services to do the annotation. That's right. I see. By the way, so temporarily, from the results of the ad reviews, you use temporary resources to apply annotations. I think you are doing that. And Line also tried doing that, but the results were not what we have expected. So the ML engineer are doing annotation manually again. So have you faced such problem? I cannot say that's totally zero, but the expected. So there were cases where the annotations were not what we have expected or the results were what we have expected. One solution to that needs some very diligent effort, but fortunately we have reviewers or judges in Japan, so we can visit such reviewers and have a dialogue with them and to communicate with them and tell them what we are looking for and how we can give effective and efficient annotation. By doing that face-to-face, by having that conversation, we can minimize such gaps.
Thank you very much. So in the case of Line, the examiner's team, so that in many areas it's sometimes hard. So but because of through this type of communication, that type of solution would be nice. So we'd like to try this as well. That's right. Under COVID-19, so the face-to-face communication is missing these days. So when you are away from your homeland, or because you are away from homeland, so the face-to-face communication, if possible, you don't have to have dinner with them, but have a face-to-face communication so that you can understand each other, what each of them are using as a role, and establish relationship and do a job. I think that type of relationship is also contributing to the resolution and trying to achieve the right data in machine learning process. I can understand. Thank you very much. That is true. So the examination as well as annotation skills as a type of business, I think this will be different from traditional doing of business. So this might be a kind of a load to the examiners as well. So I think the enhancement of the communication will be very nice. Thank you very much indeed.
And another question about the ad creative. There are some trends in the creative. I think the creative patterns might increase. And you said you do retraining after a certain period. The data set, the current data set might not have the latest creatives. So how do you respond to that challenge? In our case, fortunately, every day we have tens of millions of evaluation or review data come in every day. So we try to maintain our review data fresh.
And thank you very much. At the beginning, you talked about the criteria for about the ad management, and in the examination of the ad, there can be barriers among the advertisement as well as among countries. So how are you going to support that type of aspect in the future? Do you have any ideas in mind? As of now, in Yahoo Japan, we are mostly involved in the domestic services, but there are some English advertisement posted partially, so it is feasible. Therefore, in the future, we would like to support those as well. However, firstly, as Yahoo Japan, we focus more on Yahoo Japan case, so the domestic market. Thank you.
Thank you. A question from the audience. The tester not only images, but can this be applied to video? Yes. The video ad, you don't really judge the video ad as it is. That might be a little bit challenging. However, the video ad, as I showed you in the session, you can divide that up into images, or the content of what is spoken can be analyzed using voice analysis. So that's what we do. But going forward, we want to work so that we'll be able to judge the video itself. However, we will start with breaking it down into small pieces, the extracted OCR test, and using the spoken words, we will like to validate the risk. That comes first.
Thank you very much. There is another question. So depending on the examiners, I think the judgment can differ. So do you take majority, for example, in order to have a kind of agreement? Well, that's an interesting question. Well, there are some cases that the judgment are divided into black and white. So let's say who approves it or not approved. I don't think we don't take that type of majority voting right now. I didn't mention today, I was not able to talk about it because of time. There is a policy room, policy office. We have this type of organization. The final judgment can be done by this policy office. They have expertise in legal aspects, and also those who have set up the guidelines are also the members of this office. So if we cannot make a judgment in the field, the final judgment will refer to the regulations as well as laws to make a final judgment about that ad. That's what we're doing.
Thank you. I see. So if you have a uniform criteria, that's nice. In the Yahoo Japan ads, I think you get feedback from the users. How are you using that to review the ads? That's also a very interesting question. I'm sure this person knows quite a lot about Yahoo Japan ads. In Yahoo Japan ad, on the right top, there is a small eye mark. We call this the eye icon. And if you click that icon, the user can give feedback to that ad. And the feedback that we received through this icon, from the ad criteria point of view, this passes. But there are cases that many users feel such ads offensive. So for ads which many users feel discomfort or offensive, we might suspend the ad for some time. So we are actually applying the user feedback to the actual ad review. And the users' voices are also fed back to the advertisement team so that we can give feedback indirectly also to the advertisers.
Thank you very much. And as for the feedback, so for the ML model generated for the advertisement management, in the end, so in order to improve the prospect of that accuracy of the ad, I think this can be applied as well. Do you have any such plans in the future? Well, that's a nice perspective. So right now we are thinking about that it's worth challenging. However, realistically speaking, we have not achieved that stage to deploy it. Firstly, we need to improve the accuracy so that this can be publicized. So, but in the future, this is a nice challenging area. Thank you. I can understand. Thank you.